Now some kakva me sudbina čeka. If you guys remember, I made a video a while ago about what Russian thinks, or what Russian people think of Serbia. Some video like that, like a street interview. A lot of people were pissed off on that video. A lot of comments like, yeah, you can't base that off one video, blah blah. I know you can't base that because there's just 5-6 people at random being interviewed. But I say that if the trend continued in a video, that there wouldn't be a big difference in the responses. I think still 80% of the people would have no fucking clue. I got a video sent into the Discord channel for me to react to, which is from the channel Living Ironically in Europe. And we've done a reaction video to one of his videos before. Super funny guy. He presents the history and it with a lot of humor, dark humor, and makes it, let's say, more discussable, more... relieves the pressure basically of all these topics, because everything you discuss regarding the Balkans, there's always someone gonna be butthurt in the comments. Let's take a look at this video, because he created a video called Why Serbia Loves Russia So Much. Ooh, okay, are you ready for it? Because I am. I'm looking for some good laughs and some stupid stuff that I'm used to from this guy. I mean, he's stupid. It's not stupid, but you know what I mean, like funny stuff.
After careful examination of the current political situation in Europe, we all agree that Russia is absolutely, undeniably in the wrong. Agree?
Tak.
Da, oui.
Nas je Rusa 200 miliona, ide Putin, ide gas, Kosovo je Srbija!
Pičku materinu!
Yeah, this is what I... Ide gas, Kosovo i Serbia. Oh my god. Yeah, this is a very good explanation on how people feel about this. Especially from the Serbian side, not so much from the Russian one.
Krim i Rusija, Putin ne, Srbi ne, Putin ne, Srbi ne!
And then the piano, Serbia Russians. Oh man, I love this guy.
In the world of geopolitics, there are numerous well-known loving relationships between countries, such as between Hungary and Poland, the UK and the USA, and Turkey and Azerbaijan. But none come to the extent as the relationship
cockroaches
that sends political pundits into an autistic meltdown on Twitter,
autistic meltdown on Twitter. Okay, he's going for it.
typing off into the emptiness of online cyberspace.
Put my hand right through this monitor.
That being the relationship between Serbia and Russia. To someone outside of the Balkans, this relationship might seem extremely strange, that one small country has such a bro-ner for another nation well over 1,000 kilometers away.
Oh my god.
So much so that it will congratulate its leader's birthday on its billboards in its capital.
And promote the war in Ukraine with protests publicly on the street. And not use sanctions against Russia and all the other stuff.
Some might even find it repugnant due to the current happenings in Eastern Europe, and even question Serbia's determination to join the EU. But to understand why Serbia loves Russia so much, there is no other option than to travel back into the past, when the world was a much simpler place and you could actually purchase things with the Turkish lira. The beginnings of this bromance date back to the middle of the 14th century, when Serbia was building an empire that would go on to encompass most of the Western Balkans and most of modern-day Greece. However, that wouldn't last long, as the empire quickly became decadent and succumbed to infighting between the local lords. Nothing new for the Balkans. Opportunistically, the Ottomans engaged Serbia in several battles, taking advantage of the instability within the empire and decimated their army. The most famous battle of which was the Battle of Kosovo, where Serbia received a devastating defeat and most of the country succumbed under Ottoman rule. Due to the change of management within the Balkans, many Serbs decide to pack their bags and leave their homes.
The memes.
Because anything is better than living under Turkish rule, as the Turkish diaspora in Berlin can confirm.
Oh my god, Ronaldo in a kebab shop.
Thus, many fled for Russia, where they would be taken in with open arms and allowed to settle. This trend would continue over the centuries as the Ottomans took more and more control of Serbia and tightened persecution against the Christians in the empire.
Persecutions in the sense of that they were considered second-rank citizens, not being executed for being Christian or stuff like that, because that was basically not allowed under the Ottoman rule. So conquered land, the churches and whatever could still exist. You could still do your own thing, but yeah, you would not have the same benefits or standards of living as a Muslim would.
In the 17th and 18th centuries, with the wars of the Holy League, war encompassed the areas of where most Serbs lived in the Ottoman Empire. At the same time, there was an increase in maltreatment of them by the Turks, as polarization between Christians and Muslims grew stronger each day. Thus, as a result, hundreds of thousands of Serbs left the Ottoman Empire in an event that would come to be known as the Great Migration of the Serbs. Most left and settled in the south of Hungary, ditching the empire with an incredibly complicated language for a kingdom with an even more ridiculous language. From there, many would also be resettled into Russia by the Habsburgs, where they'd be given land in Russia's military frontier area.
They even got like villages named after places from Serbia where they used to live.
Areas of modern-day Kirovgrad and Luhansk Oblast in Ukraine. But hey, even living in an active war zone is better than learning the Hungarian language.
The language is like one of the hardest in Europe for sure. Together with Polish, like Polish speaking is not that bad, but like the writing, holy shit.
At the time, the provinces they were given also boasted the names of Slavo-Serbia and New Serbia. Alongside that, many villages and settlements were named after the settlements they left in Serbia and Hungary.
Exactly, that's what I meant.
Such as Pančevo, Vršac, Subotica, and many others. However, the relationship between Russia and Serbia hadn't reached an excessive level yet that would put into question their heterosexuality. It was similar to the one between Serbia and Hungary.
Put into question her... Oh my god, this guy, I can't.
Many Serbs were allowed to settle in Russia as they were intended to be the first men on the front line against invading armies, as was the case in Hungary. Serbia's affinity towards Russia started to bloom throughout the 19th century. As the Ottoman Empire declined, many of its conquered peoples, like the Serbs, started aspiring for independence and self-rule. Russia, being an empire on the rise and the arrival of the Ottomans, took this opportunity and supported both of the Serbian uprisings in an effort to weaken the Ottomans, providing them with weapons and ammunition. The country even publicly vowed that it will protect Serbia. Later on, in 1876, Serbia would declare independence from the Ottomans and receive military support from Russia, as both nations would fight the Ottomans together, achieving
the clips.
Victory and Serbian independence for the first time since 1540. Without Russian support, the country most likely wouldn't have seen independence until further on in the future, making the Serbian nation greatly indebted to the Russian Empire for their contributions to their independence.
To be honest, I think that if Russia wouldn't support them that much at that period of time, and another country would have done, I don't know, Hungary for example, would send them the weapons and supported their independence, that they would be now this close to Hungary and not to Russia. It's just that they were helped out by a country in the times that they needed it the most, and therefore now love that country unconditionally.
By the beginning of the 20th century, Serbia was quite fond of Russia. The Russian Empire was actively seeking closer religious and cultural ties with Serbia as a way of expanding its influence in the Balkans and limiting Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman power within the region and abroad. Because of which, in 1914, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia as a way to curb Russian influence and ideas of Yugoslavian unity. As a response, Russia declared war on Austria-Hungary in defense of Serbia. Both countries got beaten so badly that they practically became different countries entirely. Nevertheless, the people of Serbia were tremendously grateful. In the center of Belgrade, you can even find a statue of Tsar Nicholas II for precisely this reason. After the First World War, the Kingdom of Yugoslavia and the Soviet Union were both formed. Despite previously friendly relations between the two, the USSR and Yugoslavia for a while shared mutual animosity against each other due to opposing
Your mom gay. Come on.
ideological views. Yugoslavia was actually aware of how the world worked, and the USSR thought that basing your politics off of Twitter was a good idea.
Yeah, we were more Western than we were Eastern when it comes to economy, and had way more freedom than other people would have, like in the USSR. So basically, USSR said, "Oh yeah, you guys are bad communists because you don't know how communists work." So we're like, "No, we're still communists, but not in the way you are communists." So just, yeah, complicated. Oh my God, he put Balkan Odyssey, his channel, as Komunjare. Come on, man, that's not cool.
One of the main reasons for the tensions between the two was that Yugoslavia openly admitted thousands of anti-Bolsheviks who had fled the country and provided them with political asylum. Alongside that, Serbia also became the home of the Russian Orthodox Church as it was in exile. Relations were so bad that Yugoslavia refused to even recognize the USSR as a state until 1940. So Kosovo, better get those hopes down, buddy.
Oh my God, he really has to, you know, kick everyone in this video in the nuts.
Relations between the two didn't start to pick up until Yugoslavia fell under German occupation in World War II. During that time, the USSR supported Yugoslavian communist partisans, and later on, in 1944, directly fought side by side with them as they liberated the country from fascist rule.
Liberated. The irony. Anyone that doesn't get the full history of Yugoslavia and sees this video, you're probably not going to get all these things. I am really not the historian to explain it to you, so I would say Google it, but it comes down to very bloody, nasty things when he says liberated.
After the end of the war, contrary to initial assumption, relations between Yugoslavia and the USSR continued to deteriorate as more ideological disagreements popped up, and Yugoslavia refused to side with either the East nor West, thinking both were having a temper tantrum.
What the fuck?
And instead decided to found their own ideological bloc, with Black
Yes, the non-aligned movement. Basically linking multiple countries across the world from different continents to become a new, let's say, power bloc.
Jack and Hook, which ultimately prompted the Soviet Union to kick Yugoslavia out from the International Association of Socialist States and even attempt to assassinate the dictator of Yugoslavia numerous times. After Stalin's death,
The smiley, yeah.
relations between the two started to improve again, reaching an all-time high as both of their communist regimes collapsed.
One of the de facto most influential events that dictates Serbia's simping over Russia is
Oh my
none other
God.
than the
Oh
Yugoslav
my
Wars.
God.
Fight back! Fight back! Fight back!
As Yugoslavia entered the time period known as the Troll Age, most Western nations heavily sanctioned Yugoslavia, aka Serbia, crippling its economy and war efforts.
Yowza.
During these times, Russia was one of the few countries to continue trading with Yugoslavia. However, the most influential happenings happened in the late 90s during the Kosovo War. In March 1999, NATO, led by the US, started a bombing campaign against Serbia, which Russia vehemently opposed and heavily condemned. Russia
But they didn't do jack shit against it. Summary.
also sent many peacekeepers who were seen by many Serbians as Serbian allies and protectors, as opposed to NATO soldiers who had previously made Swiss cheese out of their capital. Essentially, Russia, coming to the aid of Serbs, segmented Russia and the Russian people as their true friends and brothers. As in the Serbian eyes, the Serbs were defending their holy land and birthplace of their culture and history, when most of their historical allies, with whom they fought side by side against the tyranny of the Habsburgs and the tyranny of fascism, turned their backs on them and even stabbed them in it. Russia was there, which is the ultimate reason for
Russia was there. Look at... My God.
why Serbia loves Russia so much.
When it comes to modern-day relations, things aren't as straightforward as you might think. At first glance, yes, Serbia still has a generally positive opinion of Russia. Many Serbs still think of Russians as their big brothers who come in to save the day when things get too tough for them. However, a lot of this love and cooperation comes out of necessity for Serbia. First and foremost, Serbia is entirely dependent on Russian gas and oil. Serbia's main energy company, NIS, is owned over 50% by Gazprom, the largest gas company in the world. Secondly, although Serbia has turned towards the European path, most of Europe's major players have turned a cold shoulder to Serbia due to the funny events that took hold in the 90s.
Not only just that, but just in general also modern events. They're doing so much weird, stupid shit that they are... I can bet you the European Union is just keeping them on edge, but I'm not sure that Serbia will be allowed into the European Union anytime soon.
The country has been trying to...
They are the biggest partners of Turkey, Russia, and China. So, yeah, basically all the countries that the European Union clashes with.
Access the EU for over 13 years, which hasn't been an easy process for Serbia. Alongside that, most of the EU stands against Serbia when it comes to Satan's playing den, aka Kosovo. This alone is once more...
Wait, what? I didn't get that. One more. Diplomatic recognition of Kosovo in Europe. Yeah, so basically almost everyone recognizes Kosovo. What, Spain doesn't recognize Kosovo? Okay, interesting.
Kosovo. This alone is once more one of the key determinants of Serbian public
Nema predaje, lol.
opinion regarding countries, as Serbia views Kosovo as its most important province when it comes to its culture, history, and religion. Because Russia firmly supports Serbia when it comes to its claims on Kosovo, many Serbs' hearts were swooped by Russia. In the end, the relationship between Serbia and Russia is a long and complicated one, which ultimately stems from self-interest, survival, and trying to get the upper hand over your rivals. It bloomed into love, not due to true heartfelt feeling, but due to the lack of options.
Yeah, due to the lack of options, exactly. Not having friends around you that can support you in the time of need, so...
Had another power stepped in when Serbia needed support the most, maybe this video wouldn't even exist.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said before as well. Yeah, completely agree.
Hopefully, the political landscape will change one day so that two can indulge in their feelings without scrutiny, but time can only tell. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something new from it. If you did, click the subscribe button, and if you really did, consider becoming a member like these lovely people: Craig Zeeves, Mickey D, Pavan, Anthony YouTube, Roland S, Emanuel Donchila, Andrei Sorin Parskiv, Pudelraz, Ramberlad, Jože Borat.
I think he's going to continue naming all the names. But yeah, that was a super good video, to be honest. And super clear, completely agree with what he said. History lesson in there as well for people who didn't know. I love the humor. I love the memes, the stuff that he adds to it, just to take off the pressure of of these kind of topics, especially for the people from that region who can be butthurt about anything you say there. So yeah, really... A really good one. Thank you for sending in this video, whoever sent it in. Shout out to Living Ironically in Europe. If you want to check out his channel on the original video, then you can look that up, Living Ironically in Europe on YouTube. So I thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I see all of you in the next video. Ciao.
Perfect.